My name's Alex Douglas, and I'm actually the Vice Chair of Governors at the Federation of Potts Wrigley and St John's in Bollington. But I'm also a forest school leader. And I want to talk to you tonight, very briefly, about what forest school programs can offer your children and your staff in terms of improved engagement and collaboration. You should all have a piece of string heading your way. Okay, and I'm going to use this piece of string as an example to show what forest schools can do to you. And I'm actually just going to move out of the spotlight slightly. What is forest school? Some of you may know, some of you may not. Some of you might be aware, some of you might be thinking it is the same as learning outside. It isn't. Learning outside is important, and actually I'll just go back to John's talk about the importance that cortisol levels are lowered in people in order for them to perform better. It's actually scientifically proven that outside, particularly in a woodland or a forest, that salivary cortisol levels decrease by up to 26%. So already, by going out into a woodland area, you are in an area which is calming and is therefore conducive to collaboration. So forest schools is a pedagogy that started primarily in Scandinavia. Every child in Denmark will go through a forest school program, and initially and predominantly in Scandinavian countries, it's early years and reception. But the pedagogy of forest schools is applicable to any child, any young person. What is it? It's an inspirational process that through regular activities and contact in a woodland environment afford children and young people the opportunities to develop self-esteem, self-confidence, improve their communication skills, their social skills, and their physical skills, as well as providing them opportunities to develop practical skills which will be beneficial throughout their life. Being in a forest with a trained forest school leader who will provide springboards for opportunities for activities to be not just child-led, but to actually eventually become child-initiated. So a forest school leader and teaching staff in a forest school program with their children will actually collaborate with the children in their learning. Instead of taking or adopting a didactic approach, instead of merely facilitating, teachers and leaders and other adults are actually collaborating in the learning. The piece of string is an example of collaboration. We use string a lot in forest school. What you've got in front of you is actually magic string. Okay? I'd like you to hold your magic string in front of you. I'd like you to tie a knot in one end and a knot in the other end. So you should have a piece of magic string with 2 knots in it. If you hold the magic string between your fingers, a little piece apart, twist one hand one way and one hand the other way, you should find that there is a twist which opens up in the string. It's actually 3-ply sisal. We can use this string to actually insert something. So if you've got something to hand, a pen, a dongle, your mobile phone, it will actually fit into that string. You can twist it back up again and it will hold. Yes, would you like to show yours up for people to see? If you hang it vertically, it will do the same. Outside, we will use magic string to go on a journey. We might be doing colour bingo around the woods for early years, matching colours. We might be collecting different types of leaves using identification. We might be going on a journey through the forest, and we will come back with our journey string to tell a story, improving our communication skills and our self-esteem by sharing that. We will use magic string to tie constructions, having learnt how to do knots and lashings. That may be a fairy house that you will work with your friend and partner. That string may be the house ladder entrance. It may be an important part of a bug house that somebody who is equally interested in you, in insects and bugs under the ground, will explore. That piece of string may be placed by you as a teacher in a circle on the ground. It may become a picture frame. It may be somewhere you would produce a Venn diagram outside, shaping and sorting. That piece of string can provide opportunities for play. It will become a nature trail outline. That piece of string can support children, if plaited, as a rope swing. That piece of string is as long as a child's imagination. And that imagination, because it is intrinsically driven by a child or a young person, will pretty much guarantee engagement. I've been working on a project with Potts Wrigley and St John's actually, so should you want to speak to anybody about Forest Schools and its impact on engagement with children, I would suggest you speak with them. But I can think of one particular example of a boy who is on the autistic spectrum and has attention disorders. And I work with many children like this who have difficulty staying on task for any length of time at all in the classroom. Outside, in the woodland, with space, with fresh air, with this reduced pressure of feeling of stress, your blood pressure also drops, by the way, in a woodland within 15 minutes, so it's a very good place for teachers to be as well. But as an example, this boy would not stay on task for any particular length of time in school. I've seen this child stay on task, not just for a 2-hour session or a 2.5-hour session, but take what he is interested in home, plan, come back and stay on the same task, focused in his own learning and actually developing a project management role, an opportunity that he may not have in a mainstream classroom environment. It's an opportunity for staff to actually observe the children. What is it that actually makes a child tick when they're outside the school environment? And the reflections and observations that take place during school are marvellous for informing your practice back in school. I'm done.